Hey guys, excuse the quality of the audio. I'm just working from a laptop in a B&B in Thailand, and it is hot, and I've got the air conditioner running so you can hear that in the background. So hopefully it's not too distracting, and this video will be okay. What I wanted to cover today is I've been working on a basic documentation system where it loads in the content on the right hand side here using AJAX calls, and what I want to do is cache those calls, so they're custom WordPress REST endpoints, and I wanted to cache those so that it didn't have to do the expensive work of rendering that content every time I requested it. So this is I did do something yesterday on this. I put a video up where this is a custom REST endpoint to render content, which will render bricks or WordPress content. So my endpoint is WP bricks AJAX /v1, and then I've got my actions on there. So that is what I wanted to cache. So I looked for options. There are some commercial plugins which have REST caching, but I wanted a bit more control of that. So this code, I'm going to share the code in a gist, is going to show you a way of caching your custom REST endpoints and having control over that. So the class that I've created, this is in WP Codebox. You can certainly move this out to a child theme, your own plugin, wherever you want to put it. This is just for me to use here. So basically what we have is a class with a bunch of static methods, so we don't have to instantiate the class. And what we're going to do is we have a get cache key. Now this is going to generate a unique transient name that we're going to use a WordPress transient for to save our data. And we're going to use the request that came from our REST call so that we can pull out the method, the route, and the parameters. We're going to create a unique MD5, an MD5 string from those. And add that to our cache prefix so that we always have a unique ID or string for our transient. So that's for setting and getting the cache. So we've got a get function. All that's going to do is use our WordPress get transient by getting the cache key from the request. So if it's the same request and that request has already been set, it's going to return that transient. Okay? If it doesn't exist, then it returns nothing. A blank get transient returns, I think, false or null if there's nothing in there. Okay, we then have the set transient, which is exactly the same thing. You're going to get it, except for in this case, we're going to put in some data and a TTL for how long do we want our transient to last for. And we're going to use our WordPress set transient. Again, we use exactly the same get cache key for the request. And then we set that transient with our data for however long we want it to be. And we have a default up here of 300, which is 5 minutes. In my case, I'm setting it to 1 day or 24 hours for these documents. That's that. We have a delete. Again, it's just using the delete transient and using our get cache key function so that we get a unique and consistent cache key name. All right, we have a delete all function, which will basically look for the transients and the timeouts for those transients in our WordPress database and delete them all. And we're going to call that in two different ways. One is we have a registration here for a bunch of well-known plugins. So this is ourselves, WP Rocket, WP Rocket again, W3 Total Cache, Lightspeed, FlyingPress, WP Cache, not sure what that is, Auto Optimize, Swift, don't know what that is, Breeze, SiteGround, NitroPack. If there's any others that should be included, then we should put those in there. So what these will do is when these cache plugins fire their hooks, then we're automatically going to delete all our transients as well. Okay, and then down here we have a maybe handle manual clear. That's just going to look for a get parameter of WP clear REST cache, and if we see that, then we're going to delete all. So that is if we just add a parameter to any URL at that domain, it's going to clear our transients as well. Okay, so let's see it in action. So if I refresh my database table here, I can see I've got a bunch of transients in here for WPE REST cache with MD5 strings. So we've got the cache and then we've got the timeout for that. We've got the cache and then we've got the timeout for that. So that's how it works. If I press enter on this URL with our clear parameter, and then I refresh this here, all of those transients are gone. I don't see any of the WPE cache transients there at all. So I come back to my documentation. I'm just going to refresh the page. And I will see, if I look at my XHR call here, my headers, there's nothing to indicate that it's cached at all. If I refresh the PHP my admin, I will see I have one transient for my WPE REST cache, which has a timeout, which is currently set to 24 hours. If I then refresh that page again, and then go back to my transients, it's still just the one transient. And if we look at the headers on that, it will have a header to say that it is WPE cached. So I think it's a reasonable solution for caching your custom REST calls. It will take a load off your server depending on what it's doing to create the data. It's my first crack at it. I'll probably spend an hour on this. So there may be some things that can be improved, but I think it's useful for, in my case, for this documentation system. So yeah, your thoughts. What do you think? Good idea, better solutions out there. Let me know your thoughts. Or if you're happy with this, then go for your life and use it with your code. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that. I will share it in a guest, or jest, I should say. And yeah, if you like this kind of thing, hit the subscribe, hit the like. Thanks, guys.